Welcome back to Solo in Seattle podcast, where we unpack what it means to stand on your own, heal out loud, and grow into who you're becoming. Today's episode is a powerful one. I'm sitting down with Hailey, the visionary behind Notalux photography, but more importantly, a woman who rebuilt her life after surviving an abusive relationship. Her story is one of rediscovery, alignment, and reclaiming the power to feel seen by others, and most importantly, by herself. We'll talk about what it looks to walk away, how photography became a lifeline, and the beauty of becoming someone you're finally proud of. Whether you've ever had to start over, me, leave someone behind, me also, or find your way back to yourself, this one's for you. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
Welcome to my podcast. Thank you so much for agreeing to hop on and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. Any opportunity I can get to talk about my story and use that as a way to empower other women to help
Yeah.
them, I'm happy to do
Yes.
it.
So a little
Yeah.
bit how we met. We met almost a year ago. I sat at your table. You were the table
Yeah.
captain for an event.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yes, and you did such a good job and you were emceeing. My podcast, I feel like, has really just evolved from friendships that I nurtured from Moni's fashion show that she had that day. It's kind of crazy how my world has kind of started intertwining with so many people and so many mutuals and kind of craziness. So, thank you again for taking the time out of your very booked and busy schedule.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
I just want to kind of talk about like the before with you. Can you walk us through who Hailey was before Notalux, before the camera, and before the healing?
Man, I was just really, really insecure and afraid. I lived in, and I'm still working through it, of course, but I really lived in fear all the time.
Mhm.
Afraid of setting boundaries, afraid of anybody ever being upset with me, afraid of what other people were thinking of me. And I think that being in that place attracted not so great relationships. Attracted people that were probably subconsciously, unconsciously, or not willing to take advantage of me. I mean, I grew up with a lot of divorce, a lot of instability, there's a lot of trauma in my childhood, and I think the person that I became as a child to be able to navigate that, create safety for myself was the mediator, the people pleaser, that kind of like eldest daughter archetype that is like, I'll hold everything for everyone in order to control became safety for me because I had to, yeah, totally.
For
Yeah.
myself included, absolutely. And I'm not even the eldest. I'm the baby.
It happens to all of us. I mean.
Whenever we kind of see our family systems and we think what is normal in our family systems until we realize one day that wow, the stuff that we grew up seeing, watching, absorbing are harmful. Unintentional potentially, but then we can go into like cycles and things like that. So, what was the moment you realized your relationship was abusive? What signs did you miss and what signs finally couldn't be ignored?
We started talking and we had talked for like a couple of months. And I had seen a couple of little signs. There were definitely flags that were happening. He would drink too much and like pass out and black out. And there are like some things. I was 21 at the time, very young. I mean, and I just wanted to be seen. And he was the most attractive person that had ever been interested in me before. And so I was like, kind of go blind and yeah, and so we had kind of been talking just for like a couple months, and then he actually left to go play professional football in Europe. And so we did like long distance for another 6 months after that. So by the time he had gotten back, we had technically like been together ish for like close to 9 months. I was pretty invested, but because of that time physically apart, I didn't like the red flags and like the abusive behavior and the toxic behavior wasn't as obvious, because we weren't.
It wasn't a day-to-day thing.
Yeah. By the time he got back, I think I was so invested that I was probably so bonded, trauma bonded at that, or not trauma bonded, but like bonded to him at that point that I was like, well, I don't want to give up on him. I,
You
I,
subscribe to fantasies, you
yeah.
know?
Well, there's I don't know if it was fantasies so much for me in that relationship. Sure, I
Mhm.
probably in other ones before him, but I think it was more like I saw the inner child in him, and
Mm.
I saw the potential for that inner child to be nurtured and healed and who he could be on the other side of that, which is what I did in childhood with my own parents was I had so much empathy for them that I couldn't it was hard for me to set boundaries, and so that was being perpetuated in my relationship with him because I wanted to save him.
Mm.
And I think my ego or whatever was getting something out of being the savior.
Sure. Well, and
And
I think too, it says something, right? Like you held on to something for 9 months that wasn't visceral. You couldn't touch, you couldn't feel, you couldn't be around him. And when he returned, of course, there's all of this rush of emotions. And it's very easily to get emotionally attached because you have the availability to talk all the time, essentially. And then when you're person to person, life gets in the way.
oh, yeah. And it was really bad when he got back.
Hmm.
I mean, I had broken up with him several times and then just couldn't stick with it.
So, what were some of the signs that finally couldn't be ignored?
Well, it's an interesting because it was really, really bad once he got back and into it, and I had stuck with it for so long. I actually, like, got him to go to therapy, and we went to therapy together, and, you kind of create this, like, well, it's gonna like, change is gonna happen. Like, it's getting better. Like, I'm seeing signs that it's getting better. Maybe it'll, like, eventually be everything I want it to be. I guess that's kind of the fantasy that you're talking about. It was getting better, but what was happening was even if like, he was progressing, we were technically better, and he wasn't being as abusive as he was, because he was making changes, but what was happening was it was also during COVID, and so there was a lot of alone time that I had. I had been let go of work, and so I was at home, and I was working on myself.
Yeah.
Really was what caused me to eventually be ready to let go was I had done so much work on me. I was meditating every day, I was doing yoga every day. I mean, I was unblocking and working through all of my stuff, and I eventually got to a point where I was like, "This just isn't I need to let go of his inner child and protecting and I need to protect my inner child,
For
finally."
sure. There's something that happened during COVID for a lot of people that were in these type of relationships, myself included. I talk about it throughout multiple episodes and just in person to whoever wants to listen just because I don't care and I'm just gonna tell it. I don't hold on to shit. For myself, I was in a 10-year relationship. It had been dead in the water for I don't know how long. It was actually just honestly, to be completely transparent, it was because my son had bonded to this guy. He wasn't his father, and it was financially easy. Then COVID happened, and I was forced to, like, look at him every day.
Yep.
And I was like, "I don't even like this motherfucker." He would make me coffee and bring me coffee in the morning and be like, "Good morning," and I'd be like, "I hate your voice." I just toxic shit. So, anyways, there's just so much shame placed on people who stay, myself included. What kept you there and what ultimately gave you the power to leave?
What kept me there was the belief that I was powerful enough to change him,
Yeah.
which is bullshit because
Mhm.
that's not my job. And what ended up giving me the power to leave was believing that my taking care of myself and protecting my inner child and who I am and my authenticity became more important and became my first priority instead of doing that for everybody else around me, especially him.
Yeah, I mean, you get so exhausted, like, emotionally, mentally, physically. Like, "God damn, can we just have a good day?"
Yeah.
Why do you always have to come over here like a brooding storm? There is always some sort of calculated drama. It's poor me or this or that. And I too used to date an athlete. My son's father was an athlete. And then when they lose their stupid little athleticism and then they come back, it's like, ugh, get a life. So, anyways, what did rebuilding your life from scratch look like emotionally, financially, and creatively?
It's been a lot of work, girlfriend. It's been I mean,
Same.
I opened my some crazy things kind of happened leading up to crazy manifestations happened leading up to leaving him. I opened up my LLC, my photography business in 2021, like early 2021, and then, like, just a couple months later, I had manifested this couple who, I was, like, acquaintances with her in high school. Anyways, they were getting married in Italy, and they ended up booking me to shoot their wedding in Italy. And I was getting these downloads in my meditations that, like, I'm going to Europe, which is, like, what had been a lifelong dream of mine. Everything is working out for you. Don't even worry. And it literally all unfolded. And then a couple months after that, I ended up leaving him.
Amen.
Yeah, I was starting to kind of do it, and then kind of a lot of different things that were happening around the time that I ended things with him. We were living in a townhouse at the time. My mom was not living there, but she used to live there, and but she we were living there and paying her rent while she had her business there, and the landlord was, like, basically kicking us out because they wanted to be able to, like, charge a lot more than what they were allowing us to pay. Anyway, so we had to move out, and I truly believe that this was, like, a divine intervention because we ended up moving in with my mom and stepdad so that we could have some, like, in between time before we got our own apartment, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't sign a lease with him. I can't, like,
Mm-mm.
this needs to be I'm done." And upon, like, moving out, I was done, and but thankfully, like, I had this life thing had happened to put me in a safe place where it was easy for him to leave instead of having to do a whole, like it's a lot when you have to kick somebody out or but we had
Yeah.
already moved out. We had already like, all of his stuff was already packed, so it was just kind of an easier transition,
So just
thank
keep
God.
moving along.
Yeah, that had happened, and so I was already kind of in this safer place where, like, I didn't have to pay rent, and so then I had the wedding in Italy, and I was just starting to book and kind of, like, grow my business, and at that time, it was all about, like, elopements and weddings and couples and stuff, and I don't even remember what happened af I mean, there's so many crazy I actually had met my current partner like 4 or 5 months after the breakup,
Mhm.
and then I ended up moving in with him, like, pretty quickly, but it's just been I think there are a lot of manifestations and a lot of just, like, divine things that happen to, I was being held the whole time,
For sure.
there were
Yeah.
definitely, like, guardian angels or whatever you wanna call it that were helping me out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my business also boomed during COVID. So I have multiple businesses, but the one that I'm most proud of is my estate selling company. I knew early on during COVID too that this relationship was not sustainable. I made the choice to stay with him until my son finished high school. And we did. We stayed together after COVID. And then when right before my son turned 18, I just had this epiphany as well. I was like, no. I was like, I don't need you. You're here because of what? And in my first season, I traveled through 8 very heart-wrenching episodes about my heartbreak and how we both played a part in it, my accountability in it, all of those things. But it's just one of those things when you're in this relationship and you feel like you have this sense of unfailed loyalty to somebody. Like you
Mm,
have to be
mm,
there to support them, to help them, to travel through all of these things. And it's like if a person is not able to stand on their own 2 feet, you can't hang on to that.
no.
You have to let that go. And I will say, much like I assume with you too, that's when you gained your financial freedom. I'm pretty sure your autonomy came back through, your finances
No.
came back through, your
Yeah.
sense of self came back through, and that's what my podcast is also about is not just me being single and solo and like flying the coop and doing all of these things socially. It's about finding self. All of my interviews that I do with people is literally about them refinding themselves because there's something so beautiful in doing things alone that just can carry you forward and it doesn't have to be anything serious, but it's always through an epiphany.
Yeah.
So, what role did photography play in your healing?
Huge. I feel like photography in a way has been my best friend. I mean, the business and photography as a creative outlet, but also photography as my business. I mean, it's been the thing that has kept me going.
Mhm.
Serving my clients has kept me going and showing up for them and giving them the best experience possible. Because, I mean, if I if I didn't have this business and this thing to, like, keep alive and I mean, it's forced me to grow, right? Like, it's is a mirror of
Mhm.
It's a mirror of my own, like, personal development and how much I pour into myself. I have to continue to push and to grow and to be better and, um, continue to look at myself in a raw, transparent way and like, "Okay, what are my blocks here? Like, what do
Yeah.
I need to work through?" And so it's really been my lifeline through through everything.
There's something that happens when you believe in yourself and you trust the process. So when I built my first business, it's called Thrifty 206, that's my estate selling company. I felt it in my bones. And I
Mhm.
know that you know what I'm talking about. Like you do something and you're like, aha, I have something here. And then the momentum that follows, and then the bookings that follow, and then the trust that follows, and then the brand that gets established, and then you start getting paid. And then you start paying your bills. That's how I feel with the infancy of solo in Seattle is I feel that same core
Yeah.
value of success with solo. I'm like, okay, I'm moving in the right trajectory because when you believe in yourself and you believe in your brand, so does everyone else. And you are your best representation of that. Was there a moment when the lens shifted from just capturing others to helping you feel seen?
I mean, there was the moment when I left that relationship, I reached out to a photographer myself and was like, "Hey, I like, really looked up to this photographer, I still do, she's amazing." And I was like, "Hey, I know that you only do elopements, but here's my story. Would you be interested in doing a photo shoot for me and just capturing this time in my life? And, like, I want it to be something, like, forever that I can look back on and remember. Like, I'm never going to be that version of myself again. I'm stepping into a new like, it's this is a rebirth." And she said yes, and that photo shoot put me in front of the lens for the first time and was so therapeutic and mind opening and heart opening, and, I mean, it really was, like, a somatic healing experience, and that was when I was like, "Okay, this is what I wanna do with photography, like, I need to do this for other women and create this safe space and the safe container for other women," and that really entered me into who do I need to be to hold that space, and I need to grow and heal, and, that really opened up healing for me.
Yeah, and there's just something so beautiful about realizations and being able to be open and raw. So when I started my first business as well, I modeled Nordstrom because I love their aesthetic. I love the way that they had their photography, their lineups, the way that they had all of their visuals, and I studied the craft of that, and then I carried it forward into the way that I built my business, and then again, nodding to that past relationship, I built that business to replace him.
Mm,
And anybody who has started a business who is in a gnarly situation, when you find something to focus on other than that person, the power is limitless. You are able to just see yourself in your true light for the first time. So, how did your relationship with your own image evolve throughout this journey?
yeah, it's been there was a time where I was doing a lot of boudoir photography, and through that and through seeing so many other women, I mean, naked, really, and, like, just seeing so many other body types and shapes, and, I mean, it was just like every woman is beautiful, and, like, I see the beauty in every woman no matter what she looks like, what she's been through, and, like, if I can see her beauty, then, like, why can't I see mine?
Mhm.
And there is like a really realization, like you said. There is this moment where like it just clicked and I was like, "Oh, I can be so much more accepting of myself because I am accepting these other women and they're becoming a mirror for me. And I'm being a mirror for them and like, pouring confidence into them by being their photographer."
Well, you're able to really be your true self through your lens. You're able to dance and be silly and laugh and bring joy and make people feel comfortable. I saw it myself not in the photography side of things, but whenever you were an MC in front of hundreds of women, you were being just your true self and you may have been afraid of judgment, I don't know, right? Because standing in front of a room of strangers sometimes is kind of nerve-wracking if that's not your thing because you just never know what people are looking at. Are they looking at you? Are they looking at the surroundings? Are they paying attention? So, your brand name Notalux means what?
Notalux means familiar light. in Latin.
What does that name mean to you now after everything that you've been through?
Yeah, it's familiar light to me, and I mean the entire essence of the brand and meaning of the brand is all about coming back home to yourself. This idea that we belong to ourselves first, and but that gets lost in all of the conditioning and all of the heartache and trauma that unfolds in our lives. We forget the light that we have and the divine power that is within all of us, unwavering light that is in every soul that exists in all of us that we get to choose to see and to expound on and to expand on and to live within or not is all about like guiding women back home to their own Notalux, that we all have this familiar light that we're, our intuition, whatever word we want to use, and to remember that like that should be our base for how we live our lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's just something so pure about learning yourself and returning to who you are. I share this over and over and over again. I moved here 11 years ago from Texas, and before I moved here, I was a wild child. I was the party girl, the life of the party, blah 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 blah, and then I met this person and I became this pseudo housewife, a cookie cutter Seattle East Side mother, the soccer mom, like all of these things. And I was true to form. That was my life. But we know I like a turn up. I am a little outside cat, and so, like, when I broke away from that relationship, I came back to myself. Like, I
Yeah.
love events, I love doing things, I love hanging out, I love being invited. Everybody's kinda like, "Who is this Amanda?" And I'm like, "This is the real her, bitches," you know? In this last year that I've just kind of butterflied back into my true self, I have made some of the most bomb relationships and I have secured some of the dopest partnerships in this last year, just being unapologetically who the fuck I am.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
what has surprised you most about who you're becoming?
Really thought that I was this big extroverted personality. I mean, when I took all of the like personality tests or whatever in leadership class back in like early high school, I mean, woo was like my number one. I can be friends with anybody. Like there was this perception that I thought I was this like big personality person, and I am not. I am an introvert. I like my alone time. Like, I can just sit and meditate and journal, like, all day. I mean, 8, 10 hours a day, I could do that and not talk to a single person. And so it's kind of been this unfolding of who I thought I was supposed to be and
Mhm.
who I actually am. And so I think what's surprising me is just how much alone time I need, how much rest I need, and, like, what my real limitations are. I think I didn't ever really know them or allow myself to have limitations, and now that I'm, like, recognizing where my limits are, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I need to honor those."
Yeah.
And it's been surprising at, like, how many I have and how much time alone I need and how many boundaries I really need to, like, enforce with people in my life. But it's still a process, but
It's
yeah.
always gonna be a process. You had touched on something early on in our conversation about just kind of the people pleasing, and it sounds like you learned the power of no.
I'm
And
still
and
learning, but yes.
And also this facade of being an extrovert. That's something that we subscribe to because we want to be well liked, we want to be well loved, we want to be happily perceived, we want to be invited, we want to be a part of. That shit is exhausting.
Yeah.
Even as busy as I am and all over the place, I rest more than I do.
Mhm.
Although that sounds very hard to believe, I am actually at my house more than I am out and about, and I really handpick what I do. I do not say yes to everything because I have this sense of I don't want people thinking they actually have access to me
Yep.
because that's a protected sacred place. Yeah, you may know my social persona, you may know my brand, but you will never actually know me unless I allow that. And I think those are two separate things with us being forward facing public with Instagram and building our profiles and our followings or whatever the case is there's something girl, my favorite thing is silence. I literally could sit here and not talk and be just fine with that.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love it too, girly. So, in your shoots, you hold space for others to feel beautiful and powerful. What does it mean to create that kind of safety for your clients? And I know you kind of touched on it earlier.
I really believe that you can't show up authentically. You can't be vulnerable if the environment doesn't allow for it. And so creating a safe space where I'm vulnerable first, where I invite them in, I build trust with them, I build a relationship with them. We have calls and I have resources for them so that they feel supported and checking in on them and like everybody needs support in different ways and making
Mhm.
sure that I ask each client like what does support look like for you?
Right.
Does it look like checking in? Does it look like giving you space? Does it look
Mhm.
like giving you direction the entire time? Does it look like making sure that I am aware of that and giving that to them? Because only when we feel safe enough to let our guard down and to
Mhm.
really be who we are and feel safe to be ourselves and not judged and be silly and then you get the best out of people and they feel that like they feel seen and loved and then that comes to the photos but they're also attaching those feelings associating those feelings and that experience to their photos that they receive and so they love them even more because good memories are attached to them.
No, absolutely. So, how do you protect your peace now? So, like in business and love, and definitely in self talk.
Protect my peace. I mean, it's still a work in progress because I am such a lover, like, I love people and I want to just give all the time, but I know that
Mm.
I can't, so I'm still kind of figuring that out, but, it's if I get an invitation for, like, a virtual coffee date or whatever, like, I'm really comfortable just saying, like, "Hey, I don't have the capacity right now.
Mhm.
I'm not sure when I will, but please feel free to check in on me in a couple months, and, like, we can revisit it, and I'll let you know."
Yeah.
Um
And one thing that I love about being in Washington is it's okay if you cancel.
People are cool with it, usually.
No problem. We could just reschedule whenever yeah, like if somebody and I am so bad about that myself. Like if somebody schedules a podcast with me and they feel like this guilt around like, "Hey, I'm running late. I need to reschedule." I'm like, "Girl, it's fine."
It's fine.
Like
Don't
I am not hard up for like, listen, we can do whatever you need to do. But again, not everyone is that kind. Not everybody is that. Some people are like really rigid and they do get upset if you do cancel or have to reschedule. But you know what? There's something powerful in saying no. I'm not here for this today. I I really don't want to show up. I'm just not in the mood. And that's okay. People got to respect that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's have a little bit of fun with some rapid fire questions.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do a red flag, green flag edition. I am going to just rapid fire out some questions and then you just throw out an answer. Don't think about it, just go. Okay.
Okay, I'll do my best.
All right. So green flag in friendships.
Green flag in friendships, just, like, no judgment. Like, you can just say whatever you want, you can be weird, like, there's just and they meet you with their weirdness. There's
Girl,
just, like,
match
no
my energy. Yes.
and, like, if you can like you said, like, you can cancel and it's, like, not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. So what's a red flag in creative collaboration?
Probably too rigid.
I can't stand that shit either, girl.
Yeah.
Green flag in your healing process.
Slow mornings.
Ooh, good one. I am like slow as molasses. Red flag you'll never ignore again.
If they're, like, not working on themselves.
Yeah. You know what? The red flag that I'll never ignore again is slick ass comments.
Say more.
Like somebody who the backhanded compliment, right?
Like,
That is a
passive aggressive, like, little
yes. Like I don't even have examples because I don't have that energy in my life currently, thankfully, or at least I don't see it. I'm protected, right? And so, like, in my brain, I don't have these issues current day. However, if somebody says something to me and like, I'm like, I look off to the side, I'm like, red flag, goodbye. So, what's something you tell someone who feels stuck in the cycle you once lived?
go deeper within.
Perfect. And what does being seen mean to you now?
My brain immediately wants to go to, like, being seen as the one who is the seer. Like, what that means is being really present with whoever I'm with and whoever I'm holding space with. Just, like, really, like, quiet, just listening, being the not giving advice, literally just being there. That's it.
No, there's something so powerful in sharing space. Not everything needs a response. Not everything needs to be adjusted, to be regurgitated, to be processed out. Sometimes just sitting there with somebody and being quiet and letting them feel is
Yeah,
all they need.
yeah. I used to always think that I needed to give an answer or provide advice, and I've learned that what people really need and most of the time, people don't even need advice, they just need to be reminded of things they already know.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, that sucks." Like, people just wanna know you just wanna be heard and know
Yeah.
that, like, you get it. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, man, like, oh, tell me more about that. That sounds awful." Instead of, "Well, did you think about this?" Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
people do that.
Yeah, because they're already gonna kind of be semi-defensive because they're kind of in a weird place,
Yeah.
and all you gotta do is say some triggering shit, and there it goes. So complete the sentence. "I used to be blank, but now I'm blank."
I used to be trapped in my own fear, but now I'm free.
Love that. So, Haley's story is a reminder that survival is just the beginning. Leaving an abusive relationship isn't the end, it's the start of becoming someone new, someone aligned, someone free. Her journey from invisible to being seen, from silence to Notalux, shows the power of choosing yourself, even when it's terrifying. If you're listening right now, stuck in a space that doesn't feel like safety, I want you to hear this. You are allowed to restart. You are worthy of peace, and you are becoming someone you can be proud of. Thank you, Haley, for being light, for showing us what healing in full color looks like. Until
Mm,
next time, Solo fam, keep choosing your truth, keep honoring your voice, and remember, validation isn't your value. You don't need permission to start over, and you are never too much. You are just too powerful for the wrong place. Stay solo, but never isolated.
amazing.